T.I.'s son, King. King Harris has been arrested after not appearing in court and some other things connected to his actions.
Still trying to coddle him for. Let the man walk off, have some time to himself, sit down, soak it up, and come up with what he need to do.
We've seen celebrity scandals before, but nothing this cold-blooded. Tonight, the spotlight is on King Harris, who's fighting for his life in intensive care after what's being described as a savage prison attack that feels ripped straight out of a mob movie. Reports say King was left barely conscious, dragged under armed guard to the prison infirmary as chaos erupted around him. Guards were scrambling to regain control, while inmates turned the cell block into a battlefield. The Harris family? Full-blown panic mode, running on pure fear and desperation right now. And don't think this was just some random scuffle or rookie initiation gone wrong. Insiders are calling it a straight-up ambush. Calculated, vicious, and meant to send a loud message. Fame doesn't buy you safety behind bars. Some say it was payback, others whisper it was a warning to anyone still thinking King's last name gave him immunity. As soon as word hit the internet, the storm hit harder than ever. Social media flooded with live threads, heated speculation, and yes, the wild conspiracy theories rolled in fast. Unconfirmed rumors claimed this was tied to beef with other inmates. One source close to the Harris circle swore King had been marked for humiliation weeks ago. Another voice with ties to staff said flat out, King was already hated in there. Too much fame, too much ego, and too little respect earned on the yard. Anonymous inmates reportedly warned him to tone it down. Watch your back, you ain't built for this. But King kept moving loud, proud, and soft compared to the real wolves in the block. Those warnings, they just turned into reality in the ugliest way.
So him being arrested isn't really like the shocker. It's him coming out and his, I guess, reaction to it, right? Because everybody's saying, King, you grew up privileged, bro. Why are you going down this path? Now he's talking about F the police, F12. So, he
Now, the Harris family is in crisis mode. Word is, T.I. hasn't closed his eyes since the attack, calling lawyers, politicians, anybody with pull in the Georgia dock. One Atlanta source even claims T.I. is ready to pay anything, promise anything, sign anything, just to get King out before it's too late. It's wild to picture the so-called King of the South on top of the world one minute and crumbling behind prison walls the next. But that's exactly what's playing out. Tiny has been locked in her own war room, juggling publicists and lawyers like her family's in a crisis management fire drill. But behind closed doors, that picture-perfect unity they sell to the world? Cracking wide open. Sources say the arguments between T.I. and Tiny are explosive. Friends don't even know if they're fighting for their son or just fighting each other while King's life hangs by a thread. And here's where the story turns darker.
I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for Family Hustle. Right. That does come with some, it's some adversity. Mm-hmm. It's some adversity to come with that. People get in your business.
Yeah.
Whispers say this wasn't just about a smart-mouth remark or bruised egos. Word is, it's tied to a shady contraband hustle gone sideways. Rumors flying that King either refused to play ball, or worse, tried to finesse the wrong crew. That's not just a disagreement, that's a setup waiting to happen. Some insiders swear there's evidence King was lured into a specific corner of the prison, where at least 3 inmates pounced while the cameras just happened to cut out. Officials claim nothing was wrong, but as one former T.I. road manager put it, it's Georgia. Cameras break when they need to break. That line alone has people convinced this wasn't random. It was orchestrated. Meanwhile, King's condition is still shaky, and the Harris family drama has spilled all over social media. Fans remember that infamous Falcons game, where T.I. straight up put King in a headlock on IG Live after another screaming match about King's choices. "You're embarrassing yourself and your family," T.I. barked, while security rushed in and Tiny tried to calm the storm. At the time, folks thought that was rock bottom, but now it feels like that was just a preview of the chaos we're seeing today. Inside those prison walls, King was never safe, but lately, it's become downright toxic. Multiple sources say other inmates taunted him non-stop, bringing up every skeleton in the Harris family closet, including the whispers of human trafficking that have haunted T.I., Tiny, and even cast a shadow on King himself. For King, the walls aren't just locked, they're closing in. King thought flexing on social media would boost his rep, but inside those walls, that move backfired bad.
Seda reached out to me looking to make a deal on behalf of T.I. and Tiny. And I told Steve Seda that my clients want justice. So if the deal involves Tiny and T.I. turning themselves in and admitting to the crime that they've committed, then fine, we got a deal. But if it does not, then I would prefer to have the investigators do their work and to bring criminal charges against.
He was calling out rivals, talking like the next big Atlanta star, but the older inmates weren't impressed one bit. "We're not here for the reality show," one ex-prisoner told us straight up. "We don't care who your daddy is. If you don't pay what you owe or you run your mouth, you get handled. That's the only law that counts inside, and now King is finding out the hard way." Meanwhile, T.I. is outside the gates throwing every card he has left. He's reportedly threatening to blow the lid off the prison's conditions, while at the same time his team is feeding exclusive stories to friendly media outlets, painting King as a victim of corruption instead of his own mistakes. It's the oldest trick in the celebrity crisis playbook. But the burning question remains: has the damage already gone too far to save him? And then comes the chilling thought that nobody wants to say out loud. Maybe this is the crash course that happens when you raise someone to believe they're untouchable, until reality finally swings back with fists. What's fanning the flames even more are whispers from 3 separate industry insiders, all hinting that the Harris family's long-running scandals may have painted a target on King's back. His name reportedly kept popping up in those trafficking allegations that have haunted T.I. and Tiny for years. Sabrina Peterson, the former friend who lit the fuse on that firestorm, once claimed she had receipts that would drag not just the parents, but King himself, into the mud. The feds never pressed charges, but the stain on their name has never washed out. And while one scandal is being buried by the family's legal team, another one bubbles right up. Rumors are swirling about a secret contraband deal gone wrong. King's name scribbled on a ledger, promises broken, whispers that he snitched or backed out of a payment. Inside prison, even a rumor like that is deadly. As one insider put it, the price for crossing the wrong crew is always paid in blood. Add in his privileged upbringing, reality TV baggage, and the Harris clan's endless controversies, and it's no shock King became the perfect lightning rod for every grudge and grumble behind those bars. Behind the scenes, T.I. and Tiny's marriage is looking less like a partnership and more like a ticking time bomb. Sources say the couple is in constant battle mode over how to save King from his downward spiral. Tiny is reportedly pushing the soft touch route, blaming the system and outside influences for dragging her son down, while T.I. is fired up, convinced only raw power and heavy-hitting connections can pull King out alive. Insiders swear this is the biggest storm they've faced together, bigger than the TV show cancellation, bigger than the ugly lawsuits, even bigger than that viral headlock fiasco that embarrassed the whole family. The emotional fallout is brutal, with both parents lashing out while the rest of the Harris clan gets caught in the crossfire. Zoom out, and the stakes are sky high. King, once the pampered wildcard of the Harris dynasty, now sits at the center of a nightmare that could either end in redemption or destroy the entire family brand for good. Every frantic call from T.I., every breaking headline pushes the family closer to the edge, with fans wondering, are we watching a comeback story or a full-blown collapse of a dynasty? And here's the kicker. The darkest details of that prison attack haven't even surfaced yet. Multiple insiders warn that the ugliest truths about what really happens to a famous name inside Georgia's concrete jungle are still locked away, waiting to explode. Because no matter how rich you are, how famous your parents are, or how loud your last name echoes, prison plays by a different set of rules. And those rules? They're written in blood, enforced without mercy, and completely blind to fame. Respect isn't bought with autographs or clout. It's earned in ways King Harris never had to learn on the outside. Behind those walls, yesterday's fame means nothing. And right now, King's learning that lesson with every scar. High-profile inmates don't get protection. They get targets painted on their backs. In a world where survival depends on alliances, respect, and fear, King's celebrity status may have been the very thing that signed his downfall. That's the chilling question now. Was his last name the weapon used against him all along? Insiders say this isn't just about King as a person, it's about what he represents. He didn't just walk into prison as another young man. He walked in carrying the Harris name, reality TV fame, and the reputation as T.I.'s wildest son. For men locked down for decades, that kind of baggage isn't a shield, it's a lightning rod. Several correctional officers have even whispered off the record that high-profile inmates like King are pawns in the bigger power games between rival crews. He became a pawn in someone else's game, one former inmate told us, describing exactly how outsiders with headlines get weaponized as bargaining chips. King wasn't just caught in a fight, he was caught in a message meant to echo across the yard and the outside world. Layer on top of that the constant swirl of scandals around his family and whispers of a busted contraband deal, and you've got a perfect storm. From day one, King was swimming with sharks, and some of them smelled blood from miles away. But the danger isn't only fists and blades, it's the nonstop psychological warfare. In prison, every smirk, every stare, every rumor becomes a threat. Sources say King's privileged upbringing made him a marked man before he ever stepped foot inside those gates. Some inmates see him as soft, living a life of private schools, flashy music videos, and lawyers on speed dial while they fight for scraps. Others felt insulted by his attempts to talk tough and stand on business, when everybody knew his street experience was more reality TV than reality. That tension follows a pattern seen with rappers, athletes, and actors who've landed behind bars before. Fame turns into hazing, and the silver spoon becomes a straight-up liability. Fame may open doors on the outside, but inside it only opens wounds. And that's the darkest twist in King's saga, because in trying to prove he was tough enough, he may have walked right into the very trap that sealed his fate. His desperate attempt to build an identity beyond the gated community, beyond his parents' scandals, may have been the very thing that got him broken down inside those walls. King has always pushed back on the idea that he grew up cushioned by wealth. He's gone live swearing that he stood on business, rapping and posting like he earned his stripes in the streets. But everybody in the game knows, real credibility doesn't come from a last name or a viral stream. It's not handed out at a family cookout, it's earned the hard way. And the ones who chase it too hard, they're usually the ones who pay the steepest price. So here's the uncomfortable question. Did King's obsession with proving himself shove him straight into dangerous circles? Was he trying to claim a world that was never really his to begin with? The result feels like a brutal car crash between image and reality. In the months before he got locked up, King was spiraling, swinging between loud outbursts and moments of raw vulnerability. Friends say he lived like every day was a test, wired up and restless. That viral Falcons game moment, where T.I. grabbed him in a headlock over the silver spoon talk? Looking back, it feels less like messy family drama, and more like a warning shot about where King was headed. King tried everything to cut ties with his privileged past, styling himself as the wild card rapper, dropping cryptic pics, firing off bravado with "still got my chain" energy, taunting critics at every turn. But insiders claim behind closed doors he was angry, unsettled, and maybe drowning in waters way too deep. That double life didn't just confuse fans. It painted a bullseye on his back and side. For inmates looking to make a name, King's mixed identity made him the perfect bait. So when the prison attack went down, it wasn't just the Harris family shaken. The shockwaves hit staff, lawyers, and even rival crews who suddenly saw King as part of a bigger chess match. Was this just another outburst of violence? Or was King Harris the latest target in a long-running pattern where celebrity inmates get silenced, exposed, or used? Now word is administrators are scrambling, moving King around the system, trying to keep him alive while also stopping other inmates from using his notoriety as a bargaining chip. And outside, the Harris family's meltdown is playing out for the world to see, with T.I. waging a desperate campaign to pull strings, cash checks, and fight tooth and nail for his son's early release. The Harris family can't make a single move without the world dissecting it in real time. Supporters flood the comments begging for compassion, while critics jump in quick to remind everyone of the irony. A kid born into luxury now paying the steepest price for trying to wear a mask that never truly fit. It's like watching a living parable unfold, half tragedy, half cautionary tale. Every headline just twists the story further, blurring the line between victim and architect. Was King pushed into this storm by an impossible family legacy, or did he run headfirst into it, convinced that fame was some kind of bulletproof shield? That question is haunting every corner of this saga. For T.I. and Tiny, the pressure is crushing, not just their image, but their whole foundation as parents and as partners. Lawyers are burning through hours trying to shape the narrative, but behind closed doors, the family's split. Some relatives are urging caution, warning that the louder they go, the more danger King faces inside. Others are demanding they crank up the noise, claiming silence is nothing but surrender. Meanwhile, the rest of the Harris kids are trapped in the fallout. They're being dragged into ugly speculation, paternity whispers, old disputes, messy family drama that refuses to stay buried. With every leak, whether from a guard, a supposed insider, or a fake friend of the family, the scandal spreads like wildfire, thinning the line between private heartbreak and public circus until it's almost gone. Step back, and the bigger picture is impossible to miss. King's fight is exposing the brutal truth about prison politics. The justice system doesn't care about your last name or your bank account. Inside, the only currency is raw power, and respect isn't inherited, it's taken. What started as a scuffle over respect has now ballooned into a full-on battle for survival, not just for King, but for the Harris dynasty itself. And here's the scariest part. This attack might only be the opening chapter. With King clinging to life, there's every chance more secrets, rivalries, and skeletons get dragged into the light, no matter how much damage control the family tries to spin. So what do you think? Is King Harris a casualty of family fame? Or is there a darker force behind all this chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest twists and turns. Because with the Harris family, the drama is never far behind. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next one. Who knows whose story is about to flip upside down next?